In the very first episode of my brand new Great Races series, we're taking a look at the 2015 Rolex 24 at Daytona. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next one.
Oh, bragging rights. It all starts right here. The green flag flies on the 53rd running of the Rolex 24 at Daytona, and Oz Negre on the inside, but they're racing close already.
They are. Scott Dixon pushes that target machine to the outside, and he goes for the lead.
I mean, that was a brave move there this early on. There's a lot of cooperation there. This is the lap to lead. It's all about bragging rights as the GT start goes under the TV booth.
Ollie Gavin leads Jimmy Bruni in that red and white Ferrari to the start in GTLM. But what a start by Scott Dixon. And there you're looking at them on the left side of the screen. The prototype field is Scott Pruitt now chases Oz Negre in that pole-winning car.
In the Tudor United Sports Car Championship, prototype class starts separately from GTs. You see them split right now. Prototypes on the left of your screen, GT on the right, but you called it. Scott Dixon in his target machine out in front and a spin in the horseshoe.
Coming out of turn 3.
One of the prototype challenge entries looks like the number 52.
Yeah, he looks dead in the water there, but that grass is very wet, by the way. He was lucky to get out of there quite so cleanly.
Tom Kimber-Smith, 3-time class winner at Le Mans. Let's see what happens here. He gets stacked up, he gets clipped from behind there by that yellow machine. The number 85.
Just gets pushed around, and a lot of times if you were in a sprint race, you would say, well, that puts you way back. But remember, gentlemen, you've got over 23 hours to go.
He's going for the lead. Heads to the inside in the brake zone.
This is a very fast entry to this left-hander. But right now, Calvin, he's working on the exit of the bus stop. The bus stop.
Ollie Gavin had a bobble there.
Gavin
he had a bobble.
There's a problem for one of the prototypes at the exit of the bus stop. Perhaps Ollie Gavin just a lift off the throttle. That upset the car, and it takes very little.
Here comes the Portuguese driver, Pedro Lamy, in that gold livery Aston Martin. He's picking up a draft here through the tri-oval. Bruni goes high. Here comes Lamy.
Lamy is going to be looking. He's got the bird's eye seat there going in. He definitely didn't lift, as the other two in front of him did on the way out of the bus stop. But Bruni's got the outside line. I think Gavin can easily hold this, squeeze him across the road. There is pretty hard when you've got two pros going through turn 1.
Oh, Gavin slips wide, though, Calvin.
Ooh.
Bruni slips past.
Beautiful driving. You said it earlier.
From the Racers Group, claiming his 5th straight pole in the Tudor United Sports Car Championship, dating back to last year. That Aston Martin very quick, but they're going to need to endure. And right now, it's one more battle between a Ferrari and an Aston, but this is in the different class. This is in GT Daytona. They'll have the blue number panels on the side. Stop. That's just the first of the issue. Little spin, no harm, no foul, Calvin.
Yeah, got away with it. Just got in there a little bit deep and lost control of the machine. Here we see another look of it. Just kind of missed his apex a little bit and carried too much speed in there. Maybe a downshift wasn't quite selected correctly, but watch afterwards as he tries to get back on track. Traffic is going to be a factor all day long. Look at them just
closer,
by the skin of their teeth.
Too close.
What do you think of that one, JB?
Oh my gosh, I tell you what, that absolutely puts goose pimples on me.
Clipped him.
First of all, the Porsche's just...
Looks like Gavin a little bit balked coming off of the bus stop as Jan Magnussen tries to go high.
Yeah, you know, you can see how compliant the cars are as they come over the bumps exiting the bus stop, but the Porsche right now, he doesn't know where to go. And believe me, the Corvettes are probably not going to make it too sweet and easy for him.
Oh,
but
he
right
touched
in the
him.
toe.
Little bump draft there. And Nick Tandy, the Englishman, behind the wheel of that 911 Porsche, gives Ollie Gavin a little love tap. Now, these boys are good friends. They're both from the UK. All part of the game. Jonathan Bomarito back underneath their wing here, moving over from the championship-winning SRT Viper squad from last year in GTLM. 3
of the 4 different classes out here on the racetrack were just represented as they headed there into turn 6.
What happens in a sports car race is that it starts to get a little bit of rhythm, believe it or not, even at this early stage. To us, we're joining the action. You go, oh my God, look at all those top end. And
look at this. Look at this. They touch. Tandy goes underneath in the tri-oval and gets it wrong.
Tandy
That's too risky. That is too risky, I think, Justin. I mean, I know he wants the lead of this race.
Finding a gear. Let's listen. Hear the spin, but somewhere in that spin, you could hear kind of a...
I think he may
burned up the clutch.
Yeah, exactly. He's in too high gear and he's trying to get going, and suddenly he's either either spit the gearbox or the clutch. This pedal, and under these restarts, once it's green, you can overtake anywhere. You don't have to wait for the stripe, and you can see cars, various classes here. See the number 10 car looking to the outside. Ricky Taylor still behind the wheel of that car. Remember, they have traction control issues, so it will be a factor here as he tries to get those Continental tires up to temp.
Especially when he goes around the outside. That's where a lot of the marbles are, and there's not a lot of grip out there. Cold tires. Wolf Hensler in that turquoise and blue Porsche down to the inside of the number 50.
I'd say his tire warming was working in his favor there. He was very aggressive out of the box there, going through that first sequence.
Looking out the back of the number 3 Corvette.
Yeah, and Magnussen there. See, John Edwards just got around the other way around. Orblin around Edwards there. Switch the colors up for this year. I've got to get used to it. Orblin always used to be in the black stealth machine. Now he's in the white car.
Yeah, Dixon, Pruitt, Barbosa, Negri, all heading up onto NASCAR turn 1 and then into 2. Visibility is very interesting in these prototypes. It's not that great, but on the banking, you're looking up through the upper left-hand side of the windshield, and certainly they've got the best visibility when they're on the banking. Coming down the back straight, about 186 as they're going into braking there. That means the mid-corner speed as they're heading through the bus stop. You can see the way the car's compressed to the left there. Number 3 Corvette making short work there of Wolf Hensler on the way into the bus stop. Calvin, it's interesting right now, the tires, obviously they've just put new tires on, they're out there. Let's monitor which car, because it's going to be the same throughout the whole race, what brand, what car, what model can get up to speed quickest out of the box.
Yeah, the Falcon tire team came here to Daytona back in December, had a very successful test. They went away and we got cooler conditions that we have this month than they had then. And it's really got them outside what we call the window, the operating window where the tire was happy. And it's really got
Tire Porsche. They set their lap very quick, and it took a while for the Michelin shod cars. I wonder if they did start on those harder combat tires.
Tandy has
to go straight.
He has to come to a complete stop here and then continue, try and filter into this traffic. He's got to be
down into turn 1. He's on the outside there. Oh, no,
that was odd. That happened.
He had brake failure straight at the top. Something went, did he lose? That was really weird.
But there were tires locked up.
That's what I mean. Tires locked up in a car that shouldn't lock up like that.
It's just at the very end of it. But that was well up on the tri-oval when the rear of the look down into turn 1. Magnussen on the outside. Gavin on the inside. Well, you know, I'll take... Maybe I'll take what I said back.
Yeah,
it was a pretty stout attempt.
Yeah, Magnussen wants the lead. I think he feels he got a little bit more pace. He can see guys coming, and then you see the consequence of that. He gets out in the gray, out in the marbles with it through. So I think he was getting frustrated, feeling that Ollie Gavin was maybe holding him up a little bit. Got a great run here down the back stretch here, Justin.
Yeah, of course, the inside line for the bus stop. There's no way that Corvette isn't going past, and there's no defense there from Hensler. That's just solid driving. Corvettes do have the pace out. Panther. As he goes in. A little assistance there.
Yeah.
Lucky not to be collected by the Porsche behind. Very lucky.
Here's a different incident. Number 4, GTLM Corvette running second in class.
Oh, it looks like he just pulled over a little bit, Tommy, on the front of the Park Place car there. That's, oh, I mean, whether the car went wide, I don't know. We'll never know the truth of that one. Oh, my God, this is terrible. Rear left corner of the number 4 BMW. That
looks like more than just a tire down, too.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
No.
Here it is in real time.
Tough to go the long way around there, Tommy. I mean, the Ferrari gave, remember, he just carried a ton of speed in, hit the little transition there and then spun. Didn't do much for his tires. I'm not quite sure what could have happened here unless we can't. I don't know if he's got on board. No, he's pulling off.
Pulled off.
Pulling off.
Well off the racetrack.
I thought the car was broken, and that was as quick as they could go. And so they've got a ways to go, but they're really driving hard internally as well amongst the drivers, battling for their jobs essentially, and that's what drives the team forward.
On board the number 10 now from Wayne Taylor Racing, the Konica Minolta car. This is for second place. But the story of that Mazda goes deeper. It is the only diesel engine in the field. It's a tiny 2.2-liter twin turbo. At least he's got paddle shift on the car. If it was a stick, he'd be shifting with his right hand. His V8 supercar in Australia shifts on the left, another adjustment.
Actually, the hardest thing I've had to do was drive that V8 supercar. That was back when they were H-pattern. Do an H-pattern shifter with my left hand.
Okay. Oh,
Ooh, they're gonna get after it again.
that's a little PC being on PC. Actually,
Promoter of the Long Beach Grand Prix on the Verizon IndyCar Series. There's a replay of his attempt to reverse course and get going in the right direction. One in the hands of young Sage Karam from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Watch this move around the outside. And then the inside. And then the outside.
that is a young man's move.
I was
Bob.
thinking the same thing.
That was brilliant. God, Sage is such a talent, and Chip Ganassi knows how to spot them. That is for sure.
And here is how he made the move on the class-leading Ferrari. Underneath in turn 6. Up onto the NASCAR banking. There's a look from on board.
Yeah, it was just very nicely executed this. I mean, if you're on the inside of 6 here, you get good traction coming out. You don't get too sideways. The Ferrari did go out a little wide, and he got a little. The 911 was straight.
Those cars have been, pretty proven, pretty reliable. That's a real shame because, you could throw a blanket over the top cars, and it's one of these things where they're racing hard now, but they've got their eye on tomorrow afternoon.
How's your vineyard and your private yacht? Is it going well?
Don't go there.
Decisions we make. Anyway, as we join people that can afford to go racing.
Photos, haven't seen any yet, but hopefully they're out there. The battle continues at GT Le Mans on the racetrack. Around goes Fisichella in the Ferrari.
Oh, and a big drive off of turn 6.
Yeah.
He gets a good run off. It'll be interesting to see if he can stay in the draft, gain a little bit, and outbrake heading into the bus stop.
He got a good drive off. I think Christian got a bad one. It was very bumpy coming off that corner, and if you have any traction issues, you're suddenly going to have a little bottle lift off the lift off the gas pedal. I'll try and spit it out, and that costs you acceleration. And there you see now Christian's struggling to get through the chicane because he was pushed offline a little bit by the move. There.
This is a good group, and if you've ever had a doubt that a NASCAR driver isn't a pretty good road racer, check this out. Jamie McMurray behind the wheel of the 02, and he just gets it done on Christian Fittipaldi. Now, McMurray, I know, races a lot.
He really puts out a great car. Here we're watching it.
Michael spin. It looks like he just gets in the throttle, maybe too aggressively.
Yeah, I think he tried to tuck underneath that other car and roll into the power and turned it around, TK.
No traction. Again at Daytona, and remember on restarts you can pass as soon as the green flag comes out. And down they go.
Knew that on the last restart, gave us quite the thrill. Some moves being made throughout the pack. That's one of the fun things, is trying to time it. Everyone's on radio, so everyone's getting the green called to them, theoretically.
Might have been, wasn't Joey Hand who took the field to the green flag. He had to pass that GTD car, I think it was, and Jeff Siegel there. And Tony Kanar's now making work of him as well. So got the Ganassi boys running 1-2 at the moment.
Intense stuff, and this is where you've got to be so careful, but you can make time. Woo. Sebastian Bourdais looks around the outside. Things are heating up in Daytona. This is going to be our last segment on Fox Sports 2. We'll be moving to Fox Sports 1 here in just a moment with Bob Varsha, Calvin Fish, and Justin Bell. The 53rd running of the Rolex 24 at Daytona. It's intense. Make sure you make the move with us over to Fox Sports 1. We'll see you there.
It down to 139.9. That was a couple of laps ago.
Oh, someone's in there deep. Someone was in there really deep.
One of the prototype challenge cars, the 52.
Yeah, Andrew Novich behind the wheel. I think he tried to follow Tony.
Able to refire. It's just craziness. It looks like it just lost it under braking. We've talked about it before. There's a transition there as you come off the banking into turn 1 from the oval, if you like, onto the road course.
Green flag, but not right away. You picked a fine time to leave me loose wheel.
Oh dear, really? Yeah. That was very clever though. That's going a long way. Let's see if it'll make the pit lane. Normally the car can get there without the tire. Normally the tire doesn't get there without the car. This could be a...
This tire is warming itself, going up and down, back and forth. Yeah.
Wow.
51 machine that has lost that wheel.
It's like, it is like a Michelin ad, actually.
Oh boy, and it's on the ground.
Less salubrious.
Hopefully the suspensions are stiff enough that it'll actually still prop the wheel far enough off the ground. But
much
that one's
more
actually,
on a prototype, Calvin, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Green, green, green.
There's going to be a shootout at the front. Joey Hand leads the field to green here. Sebastian Bourdais right behind him, and Ricky Taylor's cleared traffic. He's now up into the 3rd spot. Oh, big lock up there.
PC cars pinching each other off there at the entrance to one.
Oh, gets turned.
Around goes the 85. I thought he'd missed him.
Got clipped by the 38, I think, and turned him around.
Gently, boys.
Very easy to get lose track, lose sight of what's going on around you. The
Cold
visibility
tires.
there.
Yep.
Cold tires, you're getting up to speed. It's a chain reaction thing, just like on the highway. These are high-speed jinks, so much more to go wrong. But right now, look at that. Sebastian Bourdais looking on the outside of Joey there.
These guys are going to be pretty careful. There's a lot of oil dry out there from someone who dropped some fluid around this racetrack, and the last thing you want to do is be a hero and dump it in the fence here. You're going to try and feel out this grip level, and this is where the guys really have great experience in terms of not pushing it too hard. But sort of back in the pack there, and you know, you suddenly see someone spin, everyone jumps on the brakes, you don't have the tire temperature, not much you can do in those sort of circumstances.
What a different opening lap Joey Hand is having compared to the BMW here when it comes to the amount of traffic. Joey's got a clear track. The GT cars do not. A long way to work their way through the field. Just look at that up there on the banking. That is fantastic. Coming up towards the tri-oval here. Just fantastic.
Some of the old gray hairs will tell you that they liked it better when there were no lights all the way around this racetrack, and when it was dark. It was truly dark at the Rolex 24. But even with those lights up there, they only light the track to about 30% of the candle power they have available, say when NASCAR runs its midsummer time night race.
I was in the race the first year they put the lights all the way around. Very nice.
Come on board the
Watch
4
the Ferrari. It's the 62 down at the inside, just tips him. He gets a bump from the Corvette. Corvette was lucky to get away with that.
Yes, indeed.
This is the look from the 007. Another perspective.
Oh, that
there.
one was painful.
When looked at in macro, there was an awful lot more contact than you would have expected.
Boy, that poor 50 car has been kicked.
In GTLM, Jan Magnussen has the lead, but look at this. This is Olivier Beretta locking him up as he dives to the inside, and there's no love lost between Olivier Beretta and the Corvette racing team for so many years. He was very upset when they relieved him of a full-time ride, and there's a lot of bad blood at the end of that relationship. Olivier wasn't happy, felt like he still had some good years left in him, and I'm sure he's going to be determined here to take the lead and make a bit of a case for himself.
Meanwhile, here comes the DP flashing headlights to make sure the two GTLM drivers battling ahead know they're being overtaken.
That was a little tidier overtake.
Brandon Davis, and see what happened.
This is into that corner. Oh, there you go. Man. So the 81 and the 51 had obviously got into it, and the 50
back who runs out of time as we take the green again.
Sebastian Bourdais in the number 5. Mustang sampling. Corvette Daytona prototype. Under attack from Ricky Taylor.
Three Corvettes at the front of this field, Bob, right now.
Another car turned around. No pitch. You do not have a frontal one there.
More contact among the PC cars and debris being kicked in the air by the GTD machines.
Ryan Sellers had to take evasive action there in the number 17 Falcon-tired Porsche. Look at this.
For the lead.
Ricky down the inside. That's
the outside of the king. That's
boy.
Sorry, outside, yeah.
That's
that
right.
was discretion, the better part of valor
Yes,
there. As
exactly.
Ego there. I mean, you say race car drivers have ego. I don't think any pro wants to be passed on the outside of the king. You're going to stick your nose in there and take all the way.
Well, that was the scene of our GTD. Yeah, last year the GTD finish took place right there.
His chuff there going out onto the banking.
One thing Wayne Taylor told me, he said, look for us if we've got cool conditions. This car seems to come alive. Remember Petit Le Mans last year in the nighttime hours? They just took off from everyone. The car really is strong. Something about their setup, he said, it just works.
Oh, the 11 is off. You have help, or has he got a mechanical problem? Well, we understand he was punted. Let's see if we can find out by whom. Meanwhile, the battle continues up front.
Sebastian Bourdais stretching his legs out through the bus stop. Ricky's just inside the toe zone there, I think, a little bit, Calvin. He's not being dropped by Sebastian, but remember, nice clear track for these guys. The temperature's perfect. This is wonderful.
Let's see what happened.
Tipped around by the 07, it looked like.
Yeah, you know what it was?
So he got it coming down into the bus stop chicane as Sebastian Bourdais up front. You can see he gets in a little bit too late, locks up the tires, has this shortcut here, has to come to a complete stop. You're going to see Ricky Taylor here from his onboard, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that close to give Sebastian too much pressure, but you know, the pace they've been running, Sebastian locked up.
In that car, so you want that information because that gives you an idea of the margins you want to use. Speaking of margins, boy, this racing in traffic right now is fierce.
He's in trouble. He's gone the wrong
way.
He's gone the wrong way, side by side as they go past a GTT. It's the GTD Aston, and we've got a new change of the lead in the dog leg, but the Porsche gets it back. But going down to the Western Horseshoe, it's got to be the right move to go to the right hand. So the banking again, and Colin will take a very low line and try and get the drag. Experienced driver Colin. I thought we might lose him to full time to oval racing, but he's managed to keep either a split program or some of his time in it. Oh, look at this down the inside, left hand side on the brakes. Big braking maneuver. The number 8 car, though, looked like it was braking hard.
Kimball been fascinated by this GTLM battle as well, involving Patrick Pilet at the head of the order. Bill Oberlin is in second position, Pierre Caffer in third, and it is the scrap before second and third that is livening up well and truly here. The Ferrari up the inside of the BMW to take second place, then away from Bill Oberlin. That's into the bus stop. That Corvette is being sucked along nicely, courtesy of the hole in the air punched by that 911. And they work their way through the tri-oval then to head over the line. And Tommy Milner getting a good run on the Porsche side by side and around the outside. This is going to be tough. There's a P2 car there as well, and Milner's just about going to do it. The 4 car is through. What a great move.
Just as I thought they were maybe getting settled to go back out, they actually have been taking more body panels off, and I think there are more parts of the BMW on the garage floor than there are on the car currently. It's not a good situation, and you absolutely...
Interesting, the big front engine American cars are not as quick round the oval. It's the European machinery, and Caffer has another look at the leader, this time going into the bus stop.
Yeah, should have him this time because the overlap was well before the turning point for the bus stop, and indeed Pierre Caffer gets ahead, and here comes Tommy Milner again trying to take advantage of the Falcon Tyres Porsche, which is on the back, and that happened on the track. So Carl Larson finding a little more race pace after this latest restart. Mike Rockenfeller in the 90 car is in 5th position, 6th place for Scotch.
Not only produce tires, but we produce a lot of automotive system components. You know, the car that parallel parks itself, lane departure warning systems, speed sensitive cruise control, all of those electronics that we have on board cars these days, you know, that's all produced by Continental.
Let's look at the battle for the lead.
Look at that.
8 Continental tyres working there.
Separated by, well, not even a tenth of a second. This time they're hugely spread out. There's a bit over a second between the 3 of them. It's now to change there again. Pierre Caffer into
At one point it was off the lead lap by 2 laps and then got itself back onto the lead lap. And having got itself back on the lead lap, Kyle Larson doing a great job of lapping more quickly than the number 01 was.
The 02's got an issue, I think,
yes,
because all of a sudden it was looking very smoky into turn 2.
Big lock-up. Expect them in, I think, probably next time by.
Yeah, so interestingly, they all came in on the same lap on the previous cycle through. So a little bit of extra fuel performance, fuel economy from the Corvette number 3, possibly. Ryan Briscoe's light foot.
And on the outlap, the 17 car's just been overtaken by Simon Pagenaud. So Pagenaud getting the hammer down far earlier than the Falcon Tyres Porsche. Pagenaud up to 3rd. It's Patrick Long, in fact, now on board the 17. So a driver change for 17. They stuck with Simon Pagenaud in the 4 Corvette, and Mark Lieb's taken the class lead because Ryan Briscoe now comes down pit road and stops at the Chevy Corvette pit box. Meanwhile, 3 abreast there.
Good.
And Patrick Long being caught now by the 73 GTD Porsche, and that Porsche not really sure where to go because it's being lapped by a Mazda as well, and way below the apron there goes the number 60 car of AJ Allmendinger, not wasting any time at all. You could tell it was AJ Allmendinger. Jordan Taylor leads, as I say, by 1.8 seconds, Paul.
Yeah, just chipping in with the latest currently showing 7 degrees Celsius outside, and I'm afraid my maths isn't good enough to work out what that is, but if we run one of these little programs here, it'll soon tell me that's 45 degrees Fahrenheit outside at the moment. So Joe, no doubt, nicely wrapped up, as is Rooftop Ray, no doubt, up on the top of the roof bringing us these pictures, and we're very grateful to all of them for doing that.
Splendid move there from the runners under starters orders, and the green flag is waved. Plenty of overtaking being done before the start-finish line, which you're able to do, and it's almost 4 abreast heading down to turn 1. Surely they're not all going to get through there. So far, so good. One GTD car very, very slow indeed, as the 2 Chip Ganassi runners work their way around the outside line, which will give them the inside line for turn 2. Braking as late as possible, the 0-1 out
as well. So I know he's had a little bit of a rest since then. He's been chomping at the bit, and now he's going to get his opportunity to show what he can do again. A bit of a change here. Number 4 Corvette is slow going on to the banking.
Yeah, Gavin with a problem. Oliver Gavin has a problem here.
But we're talking about 6/10 at the head of the field. Jan Magnussen and Dirk Werner have got about a second.
True, with turbochargers, their whole purpose is to compress air. With the cooler air, we obviously have more dense air, so kind of nature's turbocharger feeding some more compact air into those turbos. So if anything, it should actually be helping them, but if there is...
That meant that the 912 misjudged going into the corner and went off onto the grass and collected to the 911 going into the next corner.
Very aggressive. Now Richard Westbrook is in the 90. That's a PC car locking up ahead of him. Richard to the gas, and
This could be, they were also having TC problems, and that looks like TC has been shut off there. That would not happen with properly functioning traction control.
Actually in the physical lead of the front of the pack as he pulls to the left.
GTLM Porsche down by the double yellow line, a little bit slow getting away. Prototypes swing out ahead of the GT cars.
Of course, this is the chance for the Ganassi cars to give Ricky a little bit of grief as they come through on that first step. And believe me that they certainly will, because any chance to try and rattle the youngster will be in there. Oh, and that's lock up under brakes there for one of the Ganassi cars. That
Tony Kanaan in the 02
went wide, yeah.
Just taken over. He had made the pass on the 01 and then got a little wide down there in the hairpin. Meanwhile, Ricky Taylor, the Konica Minolta Corvette out front. And back to what you were saying, Tommy, that team has had nothing but troubles electronically and otherwise all weekend. Very little actual practice laps. Wayne Taylor concerned about the state of the car.
It's on you. We're looking as they go through on the infield there. It's a tightly bunched pack, the BMWs, because he's sandwiched with the Corvette. Oh, Ollie just, well, he locked up the front right and slipped into the Porsche.
Issue we were talking about.
Yep. Trying to shoot that gap from on board the 4.
As they're heading up to turn 6 here.
Should try to go between the 2 cars.
He tried to go between because he was already in trouble.
Yeah, he knew he wasn't going to woe it up.
He wasn't right on the car, so that just
interesting moment there. You saw as Spengler in the GTLM. Damage.
Why did I even open my mouth?
That is huge for that car.
Oh, he went in a little deep, and you just get bitten on the other side. That's not the preferred line.
There's a reaction from the pit box. We talked about it yesterday. After those heavy overnight rains Friday night, the ground is damp. It's surprising.
Watch traffic on your outside there.
He stays down on the apron. He should be okay.
But that...
2 Corvettes up front, followed right behind Tony Kanaan in the 02 from Ganassi, and then the 01 of Scott Pruitt is going to have to work through some traffic. Here we head down to turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing Jordan could do there to do anything stupid. Certainly it's about keeping that pace. All three of those top running cars have got a great shot of being in the lead here, but
and look at the pressure.
Forcing someone into a mistake, Tommy, is the other side of it.
The trouble they've been having with the cold front tires with lockup. Now you can't adjust his brake bias. Look at this. On the outside, if he can stay there through the kink.
Will they do it? No, he gets out of it just before he kind of has to. Discretion being the better part of valor. Remember, Taylor.
So there's that.
Very cool, calm and collected. Well, he hit me, so there's that. Remember, he's got fresher rear tires that drive off the corner. He's going to have a little bit of an advantage on Barbosa, perhaps. We saw that off the International Horseshoe. What can he do on the 6?
That was just great driving by them both.
Neither one of those guys was going to give an inch. I guarantee you, if you look over and see Joao Barbosa there at turn in, he's not moving.
Well, I think he probably watched the last lap of the GTD finish last year. knew who was going to get the short end of that stick.
Sun rises in the east, sets in the west, and the guy on the outside always loses. So,
and as they head down into the bus stop, you know, we've seen so much action here. Everyone trying to outbrake each other. That mid-corner rolling speed, and you just want to you say to yourself, don't you, Tommy? I'm going to get on the gas there now, and you know if you can get on 1/100th of a second earlier than the guy in front, you will pull him. But I have to say, Barbosa was excellent leaving the bus stop that lap.
I think that move off the International hairpin, or horseshoe, I should say, kind of woke Barbosa back up, and he's gotten on it and gotten on it.
To one of the caution periods and got them right back in the mix, and now they hold the lead.
Barbosa will pit this lap, so he dives down, and as expected,
look at
Taylor
this.
goes with him, and he passes him on the way in.
It's all about execution, and and they touch.
Wow.
He'd be proud.
Talk about the crowd that you have here this weekend. When we had the merger between ALMS and Grand Am and established the Tudor United Sports Car Championship at the end of 13, you know, you have your fans. You had your hardcore Grand Am fans. You had your hardcore ALMS.
The opportunity, I do it 3 times, and I was done for the day at that point. But, I mean, it's really been a game changer. When you talk to the fans out there, in fact, we had one fan say, I might come back for your other racing events. And we don't get much crossover between sports car fans and NASCAR and motorcycle. But I think this venue now, with these amenities, we might see some more crossover, which would be great for all the disciplines of motorsport that we run.
That was going to be my question. I mean, the outside perception is people say, oh, they're all about NASCAR, they're all about the 500. I know that's not true. You guys get fired up for this race.
Oh, for us, this is a big...
It's always harder being the leader with cold tires in terms of judging that brake temp, and the 5 car has been leading on most of the prior restarts, so interesting to see how the 10 car does out front on the cold tires.
So the 2 Ganassi cars there as we see the Action Express car lock up a little bit down into turn 1 as Christian Fittipaldi behind the wheel. Ganassi cars had to clear some slower traffic there before they could wait for the green and go.
Fittipaldi looks on the outside in the hairpin.
This will give us a better indicator here on clear laps here. No traffic for this next 2 or 3 laps at least to see who really has the edge. Between the 2 Chevy-powered machines followed by the 2 Ford EcoBoost Ganassi machines right behind them now.
Out of the west hairpin, headed for turn 6. The tricky left-hander transitioning from the flat infield up onto the high banks.
Look at this gaggle here.
Oh, boy.
Not too different than the setup when the 4 car got into that prototype challenge car.
This is a battle. Oh, there's a bump there. There's damage on the front end of that Corvette.
Damage.
Wow. The 4 car hit the traffic there coming out of turn 6. And look at this. This is 1, 2, 3 in GTLM. The white BMW right behind them.
Got into the back of the
Look at that. That is torn up. He's going to have to hit the pit lane.
Yeah. And his teammate Jan Magnussen
got into the right front corner as well. That's going to be a lengthy fix to get that one sorted out. When I say lengthy, I mean I probably won't go down laps. Take a look at it on board, TK.
Down the inside of the...
Guy just didn't get on the gas.
He got a little bit loose, and then
Tommy Miller was taken aback by the fact the 66 did not pick up. Whoops. Oh, there's the debris from that accident with the number 4 Corvette.
Yeah, and that's one thing you got to be careful. Let's have a look at this.
Looks
Christian sort of like fainted to the side and said, I'm having some of that. They're going to use first through these hairpins, and Michael Garrett got on the radio and said just use second through 6.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it. And after he switched to second gear, we were still hearing it, so it's like it's not as big a problem now.
Take a look at this. On board with Jordan Taylor.
Yeah, there's nothing that Dixon can do. By trying to close the door there, you're just going to ask for trouble. So he's a pro. You know, if they had another second. But
fill it up with fuel. Very clean pit stop for a very dirty race car. You can see the damage on it. It's been in battle for 22 hours now. These guys are there holding on. And they came in as the class leaders.
Problems on the rear, Jamie. First of all, the right rear wouldn't come off. Then the left rear wouldn't go on. And now Garner has got the car in drive. Hit the brakes.
Stop. The clutch out. Put the clutch in.
Yeah, no, that was just spinning on the stub there.
He couldn't get it seated well. The right rear had a hard time coming off. The left rear had a hard time going on. Go, guys.
Green, green, green. One man who's got his eye on the front will be Sebastian Bourdais right now.
You know what I would have done in that case? I would have said, I wouldn't have told on myself. I would have let him come down afterwards and say, you're not getting the points.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, meanwhile, we've got a race up front. Can Sebastian Bourdais run down fellow IndyCar star Scott Pruitt? Excuse me, Scott Dixon.
But normally you'd be right. Yes, Bob.
Yeah, well, all right.
There's no reason to think he can, but this is Daytona.
Years, Bob. Been here too many years, mate.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Dixon has been the class of the field since the sun really came up this morning. As the weather has changed and warmed up, that O2 car has just come alive.
Bourdais will get some help in front. It's the sister Action Express car, the Whelen number 31, so Phil Keane should just move out of the way, I'm sure, and let Bourdais see if he's got anything in these final few minutes to go after Scott Dixon.
Bourdais been in the car less time than Dixon, but he's been in there a long time.
Wow. And just like that, under 6.5 minutes to go.
Meanwhile, it's 0.8 of a second between our GT Le Mans winners, or leaders.
Yep. Third car in line there is Dirk Werner. Garcia in the yellow vet.
Look at him entering the bus stop. He's pushing it like crazy through there. You've got everything to play for right now, and the factory teams reward drivers that push to the edge.
Well, and that's the key. Everybody's going to be pushing. A mistake on the racetrack in another class, not even in your own, can change the outcome of things here in this last 6 minutes easily.
There he is coming off the wall, and a fire starts back in the engine bay.
He went off in the infield and lost the lead to Tom Kimber-Smith, so whether there was an issue with the car which then sent him off the road again, or whether he just trying to play catch-up and lost the race car coming through the bus.
White flag.
Hashtag drive time.
Yeah. The white flag waves.
One more good lap here, man. One more good one.
One more lap after 23 hours and 59 minutes. It's just one more lap.
Right, or to put it another way, 739 other laps.
Bourdais 0.3 quicker than Dixon on that last lap.
Huge celebrations down there, and once again, what an achievement for the entire team. I know Jamie Mack will be incredibly delighted. He'll join some elite company. We talked about that for Kyle Larson. This is going to be absolutely huge. And you see the Ganassi squad there.
I think Jamie Mack is emotional. Look at him on the left. Yeah. He needs those sunglasses because he started to moisten up a little bit, joining the likes of Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt as winners of the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Kyle Larson, we talked about all that he's accomplished. Tony Kanaan.
I think TK might have a tear or two in his eye as well.
Yeah, maybe so.
It's a pretty special group of drivers that are gathered there. Chip Ganassi with his arms around his boys.
Amazing. Gap is staying about the same with the BMW and the Vet.
Final time through the chicane. Last year, Ford brought their EcoBoost turbocharged engine to this team, and Chip Ganassi Racing gave them not only their first, but their first 3 victories, including an historic return to victory lane at the 12 Hours of Sebring for Ford.
And now Scott Dixon and crew will bring Ford victory in the 24 Hours of Daytona for Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates. And how about the Corvette crew?
Man, awesome job. Awesome.
Awesome indeed. Antonio Garcia brings the number 3 home. Another overall, or another class victory for Corvette. There's our GTD class leader. Viper in the hands of Dominic Farnbacher. What a story for this team over the last 12 months. But here they are in a different class, but picking up a victory. Wow. Hugs all around. 6th victory in 9 tries now for Chip Ganassi. And who would have expected this after the way the 54 team dominated, taking the lead in the darkness of night, holding it until the last half hour of this race, when Colin Brown was caught out in the race leading car, crashed, and Tom Kimbers-Smith adds another glittering victory to a very much underappreciated career, winning Prototype Challenge.